FOMO Podcast. Today, we're joined by a true Web3 heavyweight, not literally heavyweight, a serial entrepreneur, venture builder, and investor operating at the intersection of blockchain, gaming, and esports. He's the founder and CEO of a GIMA Group, a global Web3 fund, a former public company CEO on the London Stock Exchange, and a key voice shaping gaming and crypto across the MENA region. Please welcome, ladies and gentlemen, Kevin Soltani.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I have to say, because we were joking off camera, you said heavyweight. That's the first time I've ever been called a heavyweight. Now, I said this is the heaviest I've ever been, but God bless the heavyweight, but I appreciate the pun.
Thank you so much for saying yes to this podcast.
Thank you for having me.
But before anything else, I want to get to know you more. Let's, talk about the things, what were you doing before, like when you're just a teenager, or how did you get into your position right now?
I was told we have 3.5 hours here, right? This is a 3.5 hour podcast, right? Something like that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So when I was, I'm a curious guy. I looked at my notes the other day, just on Apple Notes, and I found notes from, the first versions of the iPhone that I still had, and then 2008, 10, 12, 14, and I saw these updates, and they're all app ideas, different apps. And, who cares? It's a dime a dozen if you just have ideas, if you don't do anything with it. But I've just always been a curious, creative person. So I started my first business out of high school. When I went to college, I almost failed college because on graduation week, my professor says, "You never came to class this semester." I said, "Yeah, no shit. I was in Amsterdam selling my business." He's like, "Oh, what? You built a business?" So I had to convince him that it was a business degree and I was doing business, and that's why you can't fail me. Right? You can't hate the player, not the game type of thing. So yeah, I've been curious. I built that business, I sold it, and then we started crypto mining quickly thereafter because I didn't want to go into Wall Street corporate. I was a finance major out of University of San Francisco, and that was the route. I was going to be a trader on Wall Street, a short trader on the commodities market. And I said, nope. Decentralization and money, Bitcoin, decentralized money came into my life through a very interesting story, and the rest is history.
Yes, you're into gaming as well. What connects crypto, gaming, and esports for you?
My time at World of Warcraft. World of Warcraft is one of the biggest games ever created. It's one of the biggest communities ever created for gaming, and it's now going, I'm sure, 20, 25 years plus. And the connection there is that there's a bunch of digital assets and digital items. The digital assets are the gold that you commerce with. There's literally economies in there. The items are the swords and the skins and the things that you could have sold or bought and traded. And then nowadays we call them NFTs. Nowadays we call them tokenized assets. So
what year was that?
I started playing in 2003, 4. So, and it's much older than that. So, yeah, we're going on about 25 years.
I was actually playing, I don't know, what is that? Counter-Strike before?
Yeah, absolutely. I played that too.
Really?
Yeah. Now Counter-Strike teams are selling at esports level. They're selling, and they cost a pretty penny. The last one that we helped manage through a very top-tier organization was about a $10 million sponsorship just to build a Counter-Strike team. So let that simmer in your head a bit. When we grew up and played games, $10 million was, insane.
Yeah, of course.
But now one team, a single team with 5 players and the manager and coach costs $10 million to start. And that's not even the most expensive.
Oh, what's the most expensive? I want to know.
Probably like League of Legends team. It's a game called League of Legends. It's a tier 1 esports, and they're probably going to be out of China or Korea, where one player might cost $10 million. There's a player, Faker. He's the Michael Jordan of esports. He's won the most amount of anything. And we don't know what his contract is, but he has buildings named after him in Korea. And he's gotten the Presidential Medal of Honor, for sports just last week from the president of Korea. But he's an esports player.
Yeah.
He's a gamer. Again, let that simmer in your mind. And go tell your kid not to play games.
I should have told because my brother used to be addicted to those kinds of stuff. I was like, why don't you do it as a business? And it was like, my mom stopped him from doing that thing.
Right.
But we don't really know.
Yeah.
I should have done that when I was
But that's
young.
the common misconception, is that our parents our generation, I'm a millennial, stopped us from doing things, a lot of us.
What they love to do.
Right, but those loves now are the biggest businesses.
Yes.
Right, tinkering and playing around is better than just being a doctor. I'm not saying better. I'm saying if you were like a tinkerer, you would have been more like an Elon Musk or a Mark Zuckerberg, who's a millennial. But if they said just go be a doctor, well, great. If it's forced, it's not great. But if you wanted to be a doctor, sure. But I was very fortunate that my parents let me tinker around. I've never had a boss. I've always created my own jobs in life and business. And of course, through the advent of crypto and blockchain and the intersection of gaming, it's a crazy world. Life is nuts. Life is crazy.
Well, what's one lesson from taking a company public that Web3 founders still miss?
Still miss?
Yeah.
Well, taking a company public requires like insane amount of auditing, legal framework that Web3 people aren't used to or like. It's just the way it is. Web3 founders are pioneers. They're tinkerers. Don't tell me what to do and how to do it.
Yes.
And when you take a company public, it's not yours anymore. It's the public's, quite literally. So they need to know everything.
Yes.
When I say everything, everything. So they found a picture of me on my father's website, the auditors, the FCA in UK, and they said, you got to take that picture down. I said, it's a picture of me on my father's website. They say, it looks like you work for your father. Right? So everything, when I say everything, Web3 founders are cowboys, cowgirls. They cannot be told what to do, and they shouldn't be told what to do. That's the whole point of Web3, is that it's a new world, it's a new frontier. So that's just what they're probably not used to and what they won't like. The oversight and the legal. It took us 18 months and millions of pounds to just get to the start line.
Yes. So decentralization sounds great until governance shows up. I think that's a lesson you only learn the hard way.
Yeah.
Why are gaming and esports such a natural fit for blockchain?
Everything going on-chain has data. So on-chain data makes everything more transparent, better, faster, stronger. But specifically, gaming is those tokenized assets. Tokenized assets are very exciting. Tokenization is very exciting, but people are always talking about, real estate or commodities, and those are the big boy heavy hitters. Those are the financial assets in New York and London that are multi-trillion-dollar opportunities, which are great, but those are out of the hands of the common founder, the common person. But gaming assets, tokenization of gaming assets, like those versions of NFTs, not that I loved the first versions of NFTs, but the most successful assets in NFTs by volume were gaming assets. That is a fact. In the secondary market, so art was only bought from the artist. Very rarely was it sold to a third and fourth and fifth person. But gaming can trade hands 5-6 times a day. So if you're a trader or if you're an exchange, if you're a player, that's very exciting because it becomes an economy and it creates value. Just like playing cards when I grew up. Very rarely only one owner. Right? If you're not a Kobe Bryant fan or a Michael Jordan fan, but you carried the best card, you would sell it to a retailer. Then another person would come and buy it. Then another person would come and buy it. So digitizing that process is the most exciting part of gaming.
Speaking of cards, well, I'm also into collecting of some Pokemon cards right now.
Very smart. Very smart. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Why?
It was before it was really hype, and now they're putting it back again.
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's a good product. It's a good product that it had value.
Do you think, is it also a good investment for the people? I mean, the value of some Pokemon cards are millions.
Sure.
Now.
I think the best thing that we ever heard about any asset, even Bitcoin, is if there's someone willing to pay a higher price, then the market has viability. Now, that doesn't make it legitimate, right? It needed to go through a lot, specifically Bitcoin. But if there's a market that someone else will buy the card more than what you paid for it, and as long as you can feel confident about that, then you should go and collect it.
Of course.
Why not?
Yeah, why not?
I'm not the one to say who would have known that Pokemon cards would have come back. But then again, sports cards, some of them are crazy. And it's really just what the market commands.
That's true.
You got to be ahead of the trend too, right? It's not the guy who bought the card at the highest value. It's the guy who opens the pack and hits a God pack.
Yeah.
And the God pack has 20 of the most expensive cards. I don't know. I used to collect basketball cards, but it was way simpler back then.
Yes. Where does Web3 add real value? What do you think? And where is it still hype?
Good question. Value in the community. Always the community. The power of the communities are so powerful. And I always liken it to like meme coins. Not that I like any of them, but the power of those communities are so
Yes,
powerful.
it's true.
And if they were, some of them, using it for good, and this is an example I've given, it's very unpopular and it's kind of foo-foo, and a lot of people might push back on this, but like something like Shiba Inu, had they used that money, and they have a lot of it, and they have a very large community and token holders, but what are they doing? Now, if you could just take some of that money and solve a world problem, I'm not saying solve world hunger, but maybe a research institution. It's funny, sure. The Shiba Inu Research Institution, the Doge Research Institution of like cancer or autism or something like that. Like, that would be really cool. And then you get the power of the currency, the money, to pay some researchers, some doctors, some professors to research something beneficial. You turn a laughable item into a world-changing opportunity. You can have maybe a more centralized board of directors and CEO that are now potentially in the future could be board of directors on companies like the Harvard Medical Review and things like that. Again, this all sounds insane for Shiba Inu, but I would have liked to see something of substance. And again, that's a little foo-foo for Web3, right? But the power of the community could have made that happen. And I think everybody could get behind something like that, even if they are just crypto bros.
Yeah. So you're not into meme coins.
No,
really.
It's not that I'm not into meme coins. It's like it's a finance. If you're trading, right, there's money to be made.
Because there's people who
There's very liquid markets.
Yeah.
It's a very liquid market. So, like, we have algorithms that trade meme coins. Because it's a liquid market. But am I going to put my name to something and say I believe in it? No.
Because there's people got rich because of meme coins, not on stable coins.
There's people that got rich pulling Pokemon cards. There's people that got rich making stupid TikTok videos of twerking. Like...
It's true, though.
Yeah, it's true. So, like, am I that guy, though? Do I want my daughter to twerk and make videos, even if she's going to be a multimillionaire? No. If she does it and does it out of defiance or whatever, can I stop that? No. Like, so who am I to judge anybody? And who am I to say it's bad? So meme coin guys that crushed it, good for you. Twerkers on TikTok, good for you. It's just not for me. And you can say, oh,
I wouldn't even imagine myself looking at you twerking right now.
I mean, you'd be surprised. I'll do things in my private life, but I'm not going to put them on. I'm just not, I don't know. And it sounds a little foo-foo. We only live once, and the only thing you have is your like moral compass and what you've done. So as long as you don't lie, cheat, steal, or hurt anybody, who am I to judge you?
Yeah, that's true. As an investor, what excites you most right now?
It's not that I'm going to benefit from it personally as a business, but I think the economies of the world, the businesses of blockchain, crypto, trade in the stable coins, it's equally powerful and very scary at the same time. Stable coins are just getting into their bodies, in their form. And I think that more stable coins are going to solve bigger problems. So, China still doesn't have a stable coin, that side of the world. They do internally, but they own so many assets around the world. And now with the de-dollarization or the dollar conflict, the tariff or whatever, Russia is, again, who am I to judge these countries, right? I'm Persian, I'm Iranian, American-born Iranian. Look at that currency. Look at that country. How do the people speak? Right? You could put as many sanctions as you want on a country, but they're going to find a way.
That's true.
So, like, Russia created their own system internally. Like, again, who am I to say I'm not a politician? I'm not these big, and I don't want to be. But who am I to say that they are not allowed to figure it out? So, stable coins are very exciting for third world countries, or not even third world countries, for economies that have been pushed down so long. From Philippines to Argentina to Russia to Iran and Turkey Turkey and Vietnam. Those last two, Turkey and Vietnam, are arguably first world countries now. 15th and 16th largest economies in the world, 100 million people. They
True.
trade with the West, they trade with the East. They're kind of this, they're kind of that. But they do a lot of work. And so who are we to say that they're not allowed to have their own system? And so I think it's very exciting to see what's in stablecoins. And I think if you invest in the infrastructures in either country, in either platform, exchange, whatever, you'll be very successful, right? Because Tether and USDC and USD1 are not going to be the only ones.
For sure.
That's not true for the next 10 years. And Ethereum cannot be the only tokenization platform. They can't take all of that load.
It's true.
And so I believe the best blockchain hasn't been created yet. The best, the fastest TPS rate, whatever. I believe it hasn't been created yet. Quantum proof, no one's talking about that yet.
Yeah.
So I believe it hasn't been created yet. And good, that's a good thing. You don't want this. This is all we got?
Of course.
We have Bitcoin, we have Ethereum, we have Solana, but this is it? No, we should grow. We should want more. And I'm positive we will.
Now let's zoom out. If Web3 is moving from gaming into money and markets, we have to talk about how power and trust are being rebuilt. You know, in our country, we are actually having a problem about the funding in the governments. Like, if we put voting on-chain, what problem are we solving? Is it a trust, transparency, or legitimacy?
Everything comes down to that 5-letter word, trust. If you look in the back of the US dollar, the most widely used piece of paper, fiat in the world, it says, "In God we trust." Right? It used to be a gold-backed system, and now it's a trust-based system. The only reason why U.S. treasuries are bought and held as debt from other nations around the world, some of our allies, some of our competitors, is that 5-letter word in trust. Right? So if you can't build trust,
Of course.
you can't do it, which is why Bitcoin is coming into its form as well.
Yeah, because people-
Wall Street is trusting it.
Yes, it's true.
In a different way. Another 3-letter word, ETFs, right? Electronic traded funds. Like they're just trust-based because the Merrill Lynch and the JP Morgans and whoever's are building that trust to say, hey, you can trade on the value of Bitcoin or this and that through a system we built, which is an ETF, so that they can trade it and transact it. So that 5-letter word is so important. It's so important that blockchain is trusted. And so if we're going to put things like voting on the blockchain, that on-chain data is trusted. It cannot be manipulated. That's why FTX was such a problem, because they had a back door. They did some bad things, and they had a back door to their system, and that's not right. So they lost trust. They will never regain it. It's the problem that Madoff back in the day in 1980s and 90s where he went down. It was trust-based until it wasn't. And so that 5-letter word is one of the most powerful in the English language, in the world language, that it's the most important for our world too.
Do people want transparency, or do they want privacy with adaptability?
I mean, look at digital IDs, right? Digital IDs is rolling out pretty much a lot of the world, right? In Vietnam, they closed hundreds of millions of bank accounts because now they need biometrics. And the UK government is announcing digital ID. China's had it for a long time. It's an argument, is it about safety and protection, or should we keep it transparent and fair? Again, it's a tough place to say. Where's the world headed? Are we headed more to surveillance systems, or are we headed more to transparency? I think we both know that answer, right? I think we both know where that's headed.
It's not about being, visible. It's about being verifiable.
100%. It's not about, and is that a bad thing? Right? Again, it's a very fine line.
Of course, people doesn't want to be, watched. People don't want to be watched. They want to be believed or something.
50% of people say, I feel more secure with more cameras in the the rooms in the casino. That's why casinos in America or wherever, you see cameras everywhere. Right? In different government buildings. That's obvious for protection. It's another very cliche example of oh man, I got to go through security again at the airport. It's well, why wouldn't you want to go through security a few times, right? Because that's the safest you'll feel getting on a flight. So that's an argument that can be made for our money, our IDs, our life. And as long as we live in a world or a civilization, a democracy, I think it's fine. Once you cross that border, then it doesn't matter whether it's on chain or otherwise. So we'll see the way the world's going, but I think we're headed toward more of less transparency.
Yes, and once governance goes digital, identity becomes unavoidable, I would say, right? So a digital ID, is it the missing puzzle piece for a mass adoption or the fastest path to surveillance?
Yeah, of course, it's going to be a surveillance tool, but again, in some countries that might be necessary, it might be beneficial. In some countries, not, and scary, and something we're not used to. I don't think we have a choice of where certain things are headed. I'm born in America. We always tend to be the last person at the party.
Yeah.
But once we're at the party, we take the party over and it becomes our party.
Yes.
Right? So things like tokenization of real estate won't happen for a very long time. Digital ID won't happen for a very long time. Other countries will do it. They'll succeed. They'll fail. We'll watch. We'll see what happens. And then we'll implement it or not when time is right. And then if we do that one thing, in this case, digital ID, then it'll happen overnight.
What's the difference between self-sovereign identity and a digitized ID controlled by the state?
One is a bit in your hands and one is completely out of your hands. And so we're still a little bit of sovereign nation in the West. In the East, like China, everything is in their power. There's a social credit score. There's, now you just go to a shop and you wave your hand and your palm biometrics is the payment. I believe here there's now facial recognition. You can pay at the Carrefour and different things like that. So that's bordering the line of power of you, power of them. And so, again, I'm not so trite to think that it's all negative. I'm not the guy that's going to say, AI is taking over the world and governments hate us and blah, blah. I think that's pretty stupid to say. I think we got to be a little more open-minded. I think we got to be a little bit more positive. And I think we got to give humans a little bit more credit. We're not so... It's the question, are we born bad or are we made bad? So I just think that not everybody's trying to take over the world and ruin it, So let's just give technology a chance. And I do think things like this will create more jobs rather than hurt them. But having a little less sovereignty doesn't feel good, right? It doesn't feel good for any of us.
Yes. So the identity isn't the threat. It's the ownership of identity is, I would say.
Again, but that's the scary part, right? Who actually owns everything?
Yeah.
Do we actually own our crypto? Can it be tracked? Who has an eye on it? If you can't hide from the internet and you plug your phone, again, I'm not trying to hide. I don't care. I'm a pretty public person, but I think some people are.
Yeah.
I think some people are trying to do nefarious activities. And so going toward a digital ID and digitalization of money, it's a little less hard to hide. I don't think that's all bad.
Yeah, the big identity paradox. Zero knowledge proofs gives us prove you're eligible without doxing you?
Yeah, I think ZK is the best tool we have currently for the solving of the problem of identity. I know Polygon, early days, 3, 4, 5 years ago, was working on that and still are. And so, but I do believe the best solution for this on blockchain hasn't been fully created yet or
not
morphed.
Yet.
Maybe created, just not refined. And so it just feels like everything's being doxed.
Yeah. So trust me becomes verify me, without seeing me, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's a massive shift in how society works, though.
Yeah.
I would say. So,
what did Warren Buffett say? He said the next 10 years will be 100x of whatever you saw the last 10 years.
Yeah.
So if we just got into our iPhones and VR, AR, and so on, then robots are coming. Yeah, mixed reality is coming. Yeah, Neuralink is coming.
But do you think does AI is going to take over the world?
No, again, I'm not so trite to think that. My children's, generation, in 20 years, you can't survive in a world that's not connected in AI. So if you're not connected somehow, you're going to fall behind. What does connected mean? Do you have to be chipped? Do you have to be literally chipped or connected via the system like the Matrix? I think his name is Alex or Andrew Wang, the chief technology officer for the AI department of Meta, said, I'm not going to have kids until I know Neuralink is fully operational and focused so that my kid can be chipped day one. Because there's going to be a time when your kid, not now, in 20 years, is going to say, they're going to come to him and say, listen, we have this program or we have this program. And you can stay in the old world or you can join us in the new world because that's how fast things are going. So this one's going to be connected to that system. And AI is obviously the artificial part of it, right? So you can join us here and we can all go light speed, or you could just continue this old world. There's still a world for you. I don't think it's moving that quick where in the next 20, 50 years, but yes, there's going to be a shift.
Yeah,
and you're going to have to choose. You're going to go here or you're going to go there. And everything all at once, everywhere, will be connected.
Do you think AI is a threat or a tool for humanity?
100% a tool. Again, I'm not so trite to think that it's so negative. It's 100% a tool.
Yeah.
It all starts as a threat. Just like Bitcoin to the financial system. Just like crypto to the financial system. It was a threat for so long. And now it's their tool. Once they figure it out and can take advantage of it, they'll do it. And don't always follow the money and you'll get your answer. Always follow the money and you'll get your answer. So in the case of crypto and Bitcoin, once they felt the threat was over and they could create solutions for it, and they did, and the ETFs, and now they're printing. BlackRock, Blackstone, like follow the money and you'll get your answer.
Okay, let's talk about stablecoins. Are they a money, banking, or just tokenized promises?
I mean, it's a very powerful tool right now. It's also used for nefarious activity. And USDT is the 15th, as we're saying this, when it comes out, will probably be the 15th or 16th largest holder of US Treasury in the world.
Yeah.
So they're a player. They're a seat at the table. They just passed, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, South Korea for the largest purchasers of U.S. treasuries in the world.
Yeah.
So these are not just stable coin tokens anymore. These are companies. USD1, which is the World Liberty Fi stable coin from the Trump family, is doing billions of dollars now, actively. And so they're doing trade deals in companies' equities through stable coins. So these are not just tokenized toys anymore. They're tradable assets. Countries, as we mentioned earlier, like the Russias, have to create their own system internally because there is no SWIFT, there is no Visa, MasterCard there. And they will figure it out. So stable coins is a big piece of this. And it's not just the third world countries or the Russias of the world that are doing it. China needs to figure it out.
Yeah.
Right? China owns a lot of assets in Africa and LATAM. How are they going to transact that in a currency that's been sanctioned or hurt, like the yuan? And if they're de-dollarizing and they can't dollar, trade, what are they going to trade in? And so their proxy in Hong Kong is their best bet. So Hong Kong this year is 2026, as we're saying this, will have 5 or 6 stablecoin licenses coming out. That's a Chinese dream to be able to settle in whatever it's going to be. I don't know. Maybe it's one of the 3 that I said. Maybe it's a new one. Hong Kong, US. I don't know what it is. But there is more coming out of stablecoins.
All right. What's the real product? The token or the access to dollar liquidity?
The access. The access. It is a product, but it's a tool because it allows access to what we just said. More dollars, more trade, more activity, more transactions.
If a stablecoin is safe for who? Retail users or institutions or governments?
All. Because in the case of like what we just said, China, they now get to participate. In the case of the retailer, they get to globalize and digitize and not, leave any stone unturned. And so it's good for all, in my opinion. It's the only solution forward. Let's get that straight. It's the only solution forward.
Yes.
We are not going back to a full fiat system based on fiat. it will be going forward to you can call it crypto, you can call it tokens, you can call it stable coins, you can call it just coins, whatever. But in the future, we've all said this for 10, 15 years in the industry, there will be a Coca-Cola coin, there will be an Apple coin, there will be a Kevin coin.
A lot of coins, though.
Absolutely. Just like different countries have their currencies, and just like we used to grow up and they'd give us fun tokens or whatever, it's coming, and it's not all bad. Coca-Cola coin will be what? You don't have to buy Coca-Cola coin to transact in Coca-Cola, but if you do, they'll kick you back something. Maybe it's their membership program. I don't know. Other ones that are more heavy will be more government, country based.
So stable coins aren't replacing money; they're rerouting it, right?
It's the only way forward.
And geopolitics is catching up fast, though.
And banks have been asleep at the wheel for so long. And they're finally catching up, and the financial institutions, the New Yorks, the Londons of the world, the Hong Kongs are now on it. They're not behind anymore, but they're light speeding ahead. It's a very slippery slope, and they need to manage that slippery slope. And every country can't just come out with their own dollar, dirham, rial, rubles-backed coin, but eventually they will. And that's why it's the only way forward.
Are stablecoins the best tool for freedom and also for black markets?
Yeah, both, right? It's that slippery slope. It's the same USDT is doing great things like buying US treasuries, investing in great companies, allowing a dollar-backed option. At the same time, it's being used by third world countries in sanctioned areas to transact because they've been suffocated. And who's overseeing this? So is Trump saying no more buying of U.S. treasuries unless you block that country? It's impossible.
Of course.
It's literally impossible for now.
Yes.
And so both.
If a tool can do both good and harm, and do we regulate the tool or the behavior?
You can only regulate the behavior because the token, such as USDT, is not even, we don't know, what are they, like maximum 200 people work in the company. They're not registered in any one country. They're global.
Yeah.
They're not American. They're not European. They're everything and nothing. And so, you have to regulate the behavior. If you find out that it's been used for nefarious activity and you can catch that, which on-chain data will allow that to be seen, what do? Do you stop USDT altogether? Do you stop the person that was transacting it? Or do you stop the behavior of that company, organization, or otherwise? So,
yeah, it's true. We don't ban cash because crime exists, right?
Correct.
I mean, like, we regulate behavior, not math.
Correct.
So which raises the question, did crypto change the system or get absorbed by it?
Did crypto change the system or get absorbed by it? Crypto put a dent in the system. Crypto put a dent in the system to where they had to pay attention. Banks were asleep at the wheel. Financial institutions, the Wall Streets were asleep at the wheel for the longest time. After COVID and some new regulations, they woke up and they took over. Now they own the most of the process now, and they're the ones making the most from it. Binance is an exchange. They're the largest exchange. They print money, but the BlackRocks and the MicroStrategy is not doing so well, but those type of DAT companies and they're also doing extremely well too, right? Because ETFs and those companies that raise money and they do well, it's other people's money. Binance from the beginning had to be the people's money.
Yeah.
Right, but notoriously Binance, OKX, all of them, BitGet, all of them are about 80% institutional money. There's very few exchanges that are 80% retail money.
True.
Right, so it's other people's money.
Yeah, how about crypto's identity crisis? Like, is crypto becoming a back end for finance or instead of a revolution?
Yeah, the revolution's, I don't want to say it's done. It's just we matured. We don't need to revolt anymore. We're evolving. It's an evolution. Yeah. So we're done revolutionizing it. We're now evolutionizing, right? We're in the evolution process. So, are we going to be, should we be even using crypto anymore, the name? right? When do we start just saying money?
Money.
Right? It's probably when governments start to kick back subsidies in crypto or whatever they want to call it, USDT, whatever the new ones are called. And then you're going to just say my money. Yeah. Because if you go to the store and you buy a can of Coke with your subsidy, you're not going to say my crypto. You're going to just say this is my money. Yeah. Because it's going to be one-to-one. We're very close to that.
Are you watching the shift from bankless to better banks?
I think in our lifetime we won't go bankless.
Yeah.
They're just going to run the process, right? So once the JP Morgans of the world and the Bank of China's of the world or whatever just give you a digital wallet and they fill that digital wallet with these tokens, or if there's just a massive shift away from the dollar fiat that one day Trump or this president or that president says, we don't use that anymore. We come get your dollars for this new digital stuff. You have a new wallet. You have until this time. This has happened throughout history many times. You have X amount of months or days, like when the Eurozone turned into euros. Come exchange your marks for euros. Each country had their conversion rate. And after this date, we will not be accepting marks or francs or lira. And you now have the euro. And that's going to probably happen the same way in the digital form too. You want to call it stable coins, you want to call it CBDCs.
Yeah. Maybe the revolution wasn't destruction, maybe it was a competition.
We're evolving.
Yeah.
Evolution doesn't have competition, it's competing itself.
Yeah.
When you evolve, you're competing with yourself. You know, throughout time, man has competed with itself to become better and better and better. If it could, the next generation would be better. If it couldn't, that's it. That was the end of the line. You know, if something major happens, like a catastrophe, like funny enough, like the dinosaurs or something, then you get wiped out. Could it happen to us and the financial system? I think that dinosaur moment for the financial system is happening right in front of our eyes. Like this is the coolest time in the world, like to be alive. Like this one thing, especially as a millennial, like we grew up with no phones. Yeah. We were just playing around in and now we have phones, and then we're gonna probably end our lives at the latter end with like robots and sentient behaviors. It's like freaking awesome. Like,
how about tokenization of real world assets? Yeah. Like, are we democratizing access or exporting Wall Street's problem?
This is the most overhyped thing, you know, in 24, 25, 26, and probably 27 is like, because everyone wants to tokenize something, but there's very few regulations for it. So Wall Street is tokenizing their assets because they can, like bonds, securities, you know, debt. They can do that. Yeah. The fun stuff that we can be tokenizing, like energy and real estate, these are highly regulated, you know, worlds. And so we're living in a country in Dubai and UAE that's extremely forward-thinking, the best forward thinkers in blockchain and crypto specifically as far as regulations go. So you can purchase real estate that is tokenized from $1 to $1 million. And so that's extremely exciting. But to answer your question, something like Wall Street is, if it's in their benefit and they can cut fees from it, they'll tokenize it.
Of course.
And so when BlackRock, Mr. Fink says, I'm going to tokenize, what did he say, 10 trillion, some crazy number, by the next 10 years, that's peanuts. 10 trillion is peanuts for these guys because they cut fees. So the more they can take one and turn it into 100, which is exactly what fractional ownership and tokenization is, you're cutting fees 100 times. And you're opening up markets 100x. So why wouldn't they do it? Which is why I said they've been asleep at the wheel so long. Now they're awake, and they're fully awake. And they're like, how can we take advantage of this? So tokenizing assets is the greatest and coolest opportunity for financial instruments out there, from stock, bond, commodities, and then real estate, energy, and otherwise.
Is tokenization mostly a liquidity story or a distribution story?
Both, yeah, because it can offer more to the masses, but it offers more of a liquidity. So if you own something like an apartment, but 100 people own it through fractional ownership and tokenized, you know, a tokenized process, then that's already obviously more liquidity in the system, and it's expansion of the network, so more opportunity.
Yeah, whoever controls distribution then still controls powers, right?
Yeah, right.
At a sovereign level, this shift is already visible. Now let's talk about sovereign Bitcoin. Why are governments stealing everyone's Bitcoin?
Because they can. I mean, sadly. But, yeah, I mean, I live in California. most of the time, and we have probably one of the craziest situations right now. They just announced if you leave your Bitcoin, any crypto, on an exchange after 3 years, like undormant, we can take it.
Yeah.
Come on, what? Like that's 3 years. That's, first of all, that's nothing. And second of all, so you got to ask the question, why? It begs the question, like, why?
It's like a scam, then quietly kept it.
Yeah, I don't have that answer why, but it's like, that's pretty crazy. So, when countries have oil, what happens to those countries? Over time, it's been shown they get invaded.
Yes.
When countries now in the future are going to have Bitcoin as reserves, what's going to happen to those countries? Same goes with the individual, right?
Yeah.
If you're not sitting at their table, they're coming for your Bitcoin. But you have to be smart about it, and that's just the way it is. Unfortunately, America's the place that's capturing the most of it, and a place like California where I live, it's so backwards. It's not fair. It's not anything, but it's just the way it is, and I don't have the answer why. I don't know why I don't like it, and there's nothing I can do about it. So I just have to.
Nobody can do it.
Try to
something about it.
Make more money and get a seat at their table, right? If they let me.
Yes, governments now control a meaningful BTC through seizures. 2026 is the reckoning dump for fiat, or formalized as a strategic reserve.
Yeah.
So the choice is sell it or admit it.
Right.
Matters. What do you think?
Sell it or admit it. Oof, that's so dystopian. Ugh. That just made me feel weird. I don't know. Don't sell it, but admit it. What can I say? It's a lose-lose situation when we think like that. Again, I don't want to think negatively, and I'm not that guy. But if that's the question I've been posed with, then don't sell it. Don't ever sell it. Don't ever sell it. If we're talking about Bitcoin. Right? Bitcoin specifically, don't ever sell it. If there's a way, because there's products being built on it, you can take loans out on your Bitcoin if you admit it, right? By saying, hey, I have this, I'll pay my taxes, I want benefits from X, Y, and Z corporation. Okay, great. Now that you've paid your taxes on it and it's mine and you can't take it anymore, I want stuff from it. I want loans, I want access, I want votes, I want this, I want that. So half of that already exists, but half of it doesn't. So until that happens, I don't see why anybody should admit it. And you're not hiding, cheating, lying, or stealing. It's just the way it is,
Yeah.
I've always been the one. I've always I have nothing to hide. First of all, I'm American. We get double taxed everywhere we go.
It's true.
Like when you live in the UAE, it's zero tax on income. We as Americans don't get that opportunity. We always have to pay tax back home.
That's true.
So I'm not going to say to anyone hide and lie and cheat the system, but the system should give you benefits.
Yeah,
the system
that's
needs to
true.
give us all benefits for doing this great deed and holding our Bitcoin.
Talk about macro and culture. Well, Trump net positive or net negative?
For crypto, net positive. Trump was a very net positive for crypto. Let's just stop with all of the other politics for a second. Let's just, because this is a crypto talk, it was a very net positive for the crypto industry. The Clarity Act and the Genius Act are very net positive opportunities for builders around the world. The biggest retail market in the world, America, is now open, soon to be, for all the players. I do predict companies like Binance and OKX and these other foreign institutions will open their doors up through America, via America very soon because of the way the regulations are going. What's the quote? First, they hate you, then they make fun of you, then they imitate you, and then they invite you back, right? So that's like the story of CZ. I do believe that Binance and the biggest corporations, BitGet, OKX, KuCoin, will all be in America within the next 3 to 4 years.
Yeah, for sure. Right now, let's talk about global chaos. From Venezuela to Iran, to China trade wars. Where does fiat versus crypto fall into play?
The Venezuelan economy, the day the leader was taken out, the stock market shot up like a meme coin. Look at the chart. It went up 75%, for a stock market. So when you're able to breathe as a country, you're part of the West per se, then the chaos kind of goes down. Unfortunately, it doesn't take a bad leader or a bad government. but bad policy
Yeah.
and bad economics are not good for anybody, especially the fiat. The fiat of Venezuela, I don't know the name of their currency. Iran today was announced that it's the lowest value denomination of currency in the world. They're obviously going through a lot. Vietnam is purposely devalued, the dong. I'm living there. I know that country very well. Like the Vietnamese dong is one of the lowest value currency, but they do that on purpose. It's the fastest growth rate in the world, 8.4%. So they're not doing bad anymore. Like Vietnam is actually doing very well, but it's the lowest valued currency in the world. I think 27,000 dong for $1. So it's about the currency of the fiat if it's managed properly.
That's true.
If your government is taking care of the economical system and putting in the necessary guidelines, framework, boundaries to make that currency succeed, then you will succeed. In this country, it's pegged to the dollar. 3.66 dirham to dollar. This was an agreement based a long time ago. And because of both countries' success together, this one's been building, that one's been backing, it will always do well. And so when that 5-letter word, trust. Right? When there's trust, the system does well. And fiat still has some room to go. I just said, not me, all of the people in our industry, there's no going back to a full fiat system.
Yeah.
There's no going full fiat. We are headed to a digital solution of all currency around the world.
Now let's make it a little bit more fun. So before we end this podcast, are you okay?
I'm up. I thought we were right here for 3.5 hours. So I don't know.
Let's do fast talk. You ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
Bitcoin in one word.
Exciting.
Ethereum in one word.
Boring.
The most underrated crypto skill.
Communication.
One mistake newbies always make.
Selling.
One habit that makes crypto winners.
Resilience.
One project category you'd never touch again.
Yeah, like memes.
Memes, yeah. Now complete the sentence. The future of Web3 is blank.
Bright.
That's a strong place to end, though.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Kevin. Do you have anything to promote or something?
I don't have anything to promote, but I would have taken back that Ethereum comment. It's not boring.
Do it again.
You want to do it again?
No.
Do I get to do it again?
That's okay. Yeah.
No, I just, if it's still recording, like I would say, like Ethereum's not boring. They haven't done what they said they would do. But I do believe it's the strongest engine for tokenization technology that we have right now.
Okay.
So by not succeeding, if you're not growing, you're dying. Right? Tony Robbins said that and motivate. Like if you're not growing, you're dying. And so we expected more. I'd say like disappointed.
Thank you so much, Kevin. Do you have anything to promote or any events coming for you?
Nothing to promote. Just if you want to find me online, search my name. LinkedIn, it's pretty full. Online, YouTube, whatever. But no, we got nothing to sell you. We're just here happy and growing and living life. Take care of each other. You know, if you can promote something good, promote it. Don't hurt, don't scam, don't cheat, don't lie, don't steal. But life is short. Have fun.
Thank you, Kevin. Thank you for joining us on the FOMO Podcast. This wasn't about hype, it's about the systems. To everyone watching, stay fearless, and we'll see you next time. This is me, Krista Simmons, only here at FOMO Podcast. Thank you, Kevin.
Stay fearless. I like that.